Bonjour à tous. Hello everyone. Je m'appelle Isha. Hello, I'm Isha. So I just want to introduce myself before I start teaching you another topic. So I believe that I have been sharing some lectures on regular basis and I hope that all the lectures are clear and you are able to understand things properly. So this is my channel with the name of Language Spare where I make French fun and easy and I want students to understand French in an easy way. Now, let's understand today's lesson, what we are learning. So, in today's lesson, we will be learning accents. Now, what are accents? Accents are basically on the vowels and are used in your written French. Okay. What are these accents? The accents are the marks or the symbols which are on the vowels. So now you know that we already aware about the vowels. What are vowels and what are consonants? So now vowels are basically A, E, I, O and U. Now there are different marks, or I can say there are different accents on the French words which are very important, which help and which change the sound of the word. So it's very important to memorize the accent. If you don't know the accent and if you don't write it, it would be considered as wrong. Now let's understand in detail. Now what are accents? So now accents are like Hindi matras, the way you have matras in Hindi. So what do matras do? Matras basically change the sound of the word, right? Same way, accents also change the sound of the word. Now let's understand in detail. In French, we have five type of accents. Okay, so it's l'accent aigu, l'accent grave, l'accent cédille, l'accent circonflexe, and l'accent tréma. So now we will be doing all these accents in detail and we will be understanding them step by step. Okay, now let's start with the first accent. Now, accent aigu and accent grave are the most often used accents, and it's very important to understand the exact difference. Now, if I talk about accent aigu, now let's understand this lesson. So there are five different kind of accents used in written French, and they are l'accent aigu, l'accent grave, l'accent circonflexe, l'accent cédille, and l'accent tréma. Now, let's start with the first accent, l'accent aigu. Now, what is this l'accent aigu? L'accent aigu is an acute accent which is found on E. If you can see, I will be making the E and I will be putting an accent. So, it's like this, okay? So, it's a mark on E. You have to make sure that you put the mark this way only. You can't put any kind of marks. You can't do like this, like this. No, it has to be like this, okay? Now, what does it do? It creates a sound of A. It creates a sound of A. A. Now, if you see this accent, so you have to make sure that you create a sound of A. For example, let's see some examples. Now, café. Now, the accent is on E, right? So you have to make sure that you read it like café, café, café. Now, next is été, 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 été. École, 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 école. So whenever you see l'accent aigu, which is like an acute accent, it's found on vowel E. It gives the sound of A. Now, let's talk about the next accent, which is l'accent grave. So l'accent grave is the grave accent, which is on A, E, U, which is on A, U. So this is like this. You have to understand. It has to be like this kind of a mark, okay? Now, let's understand what the pronunciation actually comes when you have this accent, okay? Now, on A or U, first of all, on A or U, the pronunciation doesn't changes, but the accent changes the meaning of the word. But the accent changes if the word has an accent, okay? The meaning of the word changes. I'll explain how. The pronunciation will remain same. For example, it's la. Okay, so la means there and la, that also means the, right? Now, if it has an accent, it is there. If it doesn't has an accent, it means the. So now the pronunciation is same, but with an accent, the meaning of the word is also changing. Oo, oo. Now the pronunciation is same, but oo with an accent on U means where, but oo specifically means or. And also, whenever this accent is on E specifically, it changes the sound to A, 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 A. Par exemple, père, père. See, it changed to A. Problème, problème, problème. Mère, mère, mère. So now you have understood the two accents, I believe. The first accent is accent aigu and the next accent is accent grave. Now, in this accent aigu, you have a sound of A, but with l'accent grave, you have a sound of E. E. So these are the most important accents. Now let me let me zoom a little bit so that you're able to understand it better and it's easier for all of you to understand. I'm sure now you all can see accent aigu, the mark on E like this, and accent grave, the mark on A, E, and E. The sounds are absolutely clear. Now, let's proceed ahead and now let's go to the next accent. Now, if we talk about the next accent, that is l'accent circonflexe. L'accent circonflexe, okay? Now, this is like a V, okay? If you can see, or I can say it is like a hat, right? Now, it is on A, E, O, U. A, E, I, O, and U. Now, this accent can come on any vowel and there is no major change of the sound. Okay, now let's understand. For example, ga, a, gato, gato. As you've already learned my sounds lesson, so you know that EAU gives the sound of O. So, gato, gato. Now, H is considered to be silent in French. Just memorize that way that H is considered to be silent in French. It is not pronounced whenever it is coming in the beginning of the letter. Okay, specifically. Okay. Now, hôpital, 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 hôpital. Now, next, forehead, 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 forehead. Okay, ET is a A sound. So like l'accent circonflexe, it's on A, E, I, O, and U. It is like a hat and it does not changes. There is no major change in the sound. Okay. So it's like gato, hôpital, forêt. Now next accent is l'accent Cédille. L'accent Cédille, l'accent Cédille. Now this accent is the only accent which comes on C. This accent is the only accent which comes on C. Now let's understand how this accent is. If you see this C like this and you just have to put a small mark. Okay. So it's like a small curve. Okay. Below C, it's a small curve. Now it comes under C. Now without C, okay, without the accent C is pronounced as K. So wherever you will be seeing C, you will be pronouncing it as K. You will be pronouncing it as K. And wherever you will see C with an accent, you will pronounce it like S. You will pronounce it like S. So this is a rule which you have to memorize. Now let's understand in detail. Now for example, now if you see this word which basically means boy. Now it has C Cédille. If you can see, it has C Cédille. So try and read it. How will you read it? If it is S. So garçon, garçon, garçon. Glaçon. Again, there is C. Glaçon. Glaçon. Because it's like a S sound. And whenever it is without C, you read it like K. So like carte, carte, carte. Compose, compose, compose. So here there is C, so you read it like K. So it's compose. And you S, you read it like Z because it is surrounded with two vowels. So this is a rule which I have already informed prior. Now, whenever C is with E and I, whenever C is with E and I, whenever C is with E and I, then CI gives a sound of SI. So CI gives a sound of C. 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 That is cinema. The accent is missing here. I'll just mention it. Cinema. 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 And whenever it is with CE, it gives a sound of S. 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 France, 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 s, balance, balance, balance. So now C Cédille is like a small mark which comes below the C. Whenever you see that there is C Cédille, you always read it like S, but if C is without accent, so you read it like K. You read it like K. Now, the last accent we talk about is l'accent tréma. So it's like e, o. So it's like two dots. Okay. Now it is used on two vowels and both the vowels are pronounced separately. So whenever you will see this accent specifically, l'accent tréma, so there will be like two dots and you have to make sure that you pronounce both these vowels separately. For example, Noël. Noel. Noel. So Noel. Both the vowels. Okay. Now, mice. 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 So again, both the vowels. So whenever you see that there are two dots, make sure that you pronounce both the vowels. Okay. So now with this, we complete the accents in French. So we have accent aigu, accent grave, accent circonflexe, accent cédille, and we have l'accent tréma. I hope this topic of accents is absolutely clear. If you feel any difficulty, you can make sure that you can drop us a message and please make sure that you subscribe our channel. Also, one very important part which I would like to tell before I conclude, that when you come across these words where you see accents, whenever you come across these words where you see accents, make sure you make a part of your memory. Try to learn them as they are. Okay, try to learn them as they are. Okay, merci beaucoup.